Killer, a new week. You're getting what you want this week, back-to-back games.
Yeah, and it's certainly needed after last Sunday's frustration. Something to get our teeth into straight away after a very disappointing performance and result.
You've named your 21-man squad this week. A few changes in there. Aaron Brown's not in there from last week. He's just had a late problem with his groin or hamstring.
Yeah, just pulled up a little bit sore last Wednesday. So we gave him till Friday, but yeah, it's a hamstring strain. Bowles's back in there. Will McArdle's up for selection after impressing 4 Huddersfield reserves as well. So we'll finalise the team this evening with the coaching staff, and again, whatever 17 we put out will be good enough to get the result.
And just running through some of the injuries, Pickersgill and Hatton are long term, aren't they? A few question marks over Bendini. He's been in the 21 recently, but you've got a little bit more info for the fans there, haven't you?
Yeah, Ben's scheduled for some surgery, hopefully September, October. He's just got a condition where he cramps up and he can't get through the full 80 minutes. So if we do start Ben, then it's obviously a risk because you've got to bring a half-back off. So he's been in the 21 as a consideration that we could start him and then maybe rotate or start him off the bench. But he's just pulled up a little bit tight in training, himself. So listen, he's a big part of our plans. He's contracted for next season, so he's training well and getting those reps in. But we just don't want to put that pressure on him. I think the last time he played was Swinton at home, and unfortunately he did have to come off with 20 minutes to go, and he just burns our interchange. You don't plan for losing a half-back during a game. So we have considered different options where we can use him, and he may feature even this weekend or before the end of the season. But once he's got that surgery, that will eliminate those issues. All being well, and that comes through successful, and it'll be a good boost for him and also us that he can get through and play those 80 minutes that's needed. If you're playing at standoff.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what he can do without the pressure or that in the back of his mind. He's a young lad and he's working hard on himself, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. He's getting plenty of reps in training. Doing plenty of work with Matty and Faz and the rest of the spine. And he's a player that I really like working with, and I'm looking forward to getting the best out of him. 2026 hopefully.
Looking at the team you've got up this week, the squad, have you got any thoughts about which way you might go? Whitehaven obviously a big heavy set, bit of rain forecast for Sunday as well, so similar to what we had up at their place at the start of the year.
Yeah, every Sunday it seems to forecast rain. We'll make some changes. See, Bowles's available. Got the option of putting Adam Ryder in the outside backs and locking the back row. We've got plenty of middles available, but also, like I touched on in previous weeks, we're trying to look at everyone and give them a good opportunity to put themselves, in the shop window for next season. It's that time of year now where recruitment and retention's at the forefront of our mind. So, people who have had limited opportunities before now will be given a chance to play. So, Bobby Hartley's in the squad, McArdle's in the squad, like I've touched on, and some other guys there that myself and the coaching staff have still got a question mark on, and some of that will be like you mentioned before. It's the first time we've had back-to-back games. It's very hard when you're playing a week and then you're having a couple of weeks off, and not everyone's getting an opportunity to play. So we'll be looking at a couple this week and the next few weeks. But like I say, every team we put out is competitive and good enough to win the fixtures that we got remaining.
How are you finding recruitment and retention given all the talk of Super League going to 12, 14 and a merge and a conference? Is there any clarity on that yet, or how are you taking it in your stride?
I believe there's a meeting at early August where we'll get confirmation. Obviously we've got a plan A, a plan B and a plan C. We're excited for the competition to merge, and that would put us around some strong championship sides as well. So we've got to be competitive. So we're looking at those types of players as well. On your plan A, your plan B, we want to have as strong a squad as possible. So we don't have trouble recruiting players to this club, but we've got to make sure we have the right fit. A squad that's durable, that's tough, that can play in any weathers. So yeah, coming in at the stage of coming has given me a really good chance to look at the gaps, what we need, who we need to move on for whatever reason. Obviously, we've accelerated that. We're bringing Matty in and Jack and some others, along the way. But we're excited by recruitment and the squad that we are potentially putting together for next season. So once we get that clarity, I think we can, obviously be more aggressive in the market.
Big heritage weekend this weekend as well. You've got a lot of ex-players, 60, 70 ex-players in attendance. It'd be good for the fans to get down and mingle with them, but also put on a show as well for them.
Yeah, listen, it's something we touched on Tuesday in our review, and when we were setting the tone for the week, that these players are going to come out. They've represented the club before, and we want to make sure that we put a performance in that we can be proud of, that they can be proud of. There's still a connection with them, with the club, and we don't want to let them down. And yeah, it'd be great for the supporters to get in and around them, and good for those players to come. Sometimes you lose a little bit of touch, along the way with families and working, and as you're growing a little bit older as well. So great for them to come and reconnect with each other and the club on Sunday.
Thank you.